What if the heaviness many people feel after 60 has nothing to do with aging itself, but with things they're still carrying that no longer serve them? Most people over 60 believe life naturally becomes harder, more complicated, and more limited with age. But there's a missing piece in that belief. Something subtle has been accumulating for decades, quietly shaping stress, health, and satisfaction, and it rarely gets questioned. Here's the first clue. American aging surveys show is that while physical challenges increase after 60, reported life satisfaction often improves but only among those who simplify their lives. Another clue. Seniors who intentionally reduce obligations, possessions, and mental burdens often show lower stress markers and better health outcomes. If aging alone caused decline, this wouldn't be happening. So, what's being removed and why does it matter so much now? To understand this, we have to return to the science of aging and adaptation. In the 1980s and 1990s, researchers studying lifespan development noticed a pattern. Successful aging wasn't about adding more, but about selective loss. Psychologist Paul Baltz described this as selective optimization with compensation, a turning point in how we understand aging. The body and mind naturally narrow focus to preserve what matters most, cause leads to effect, long before people consciously notice. The origins of this issue often begin in early adulthood. In the 20s and 30s, accumulation is rewarded. More possessions, more commitments, more roles, more expectations. The cause is future-oriented survival and status building. The effect is complexity. At this stage, complexity feels productive, even necessary. Few people question it. Changes start quietly in the 40s. Energy becomes finite. Recovery takes longer. According to U.S. health data, stress-related conditions often emerge in midlife. Yet instead of subtracting, most people try to manage complexity more efficiently. Better calendars, better storage, better multitasking. The cause is habit. The effect is overload that feels normal. Then comes the shift after 65 that most people ignore. Biological reserve declines. The nervous system becomes less tolerant of constant stimulation. National Institute on Aging research shows older adults are more affected by chronic low-level stress than younger adults. What once felt manageable now feels exhausting. This is not weakness, it's physiology. The cause is reduced buffer capacity. The effect is the growing cost of unnecessary burdens. The breaking point arrives when life feels heavy without a clear reason. Sleep worsens. Irritability increases. Health issues flare. Seniors often blame age itself. But the real issue is misalignment, holding onto things designed for a younger nervous system. What looks like decline is often excess finally becoming visible. The fallout affects health, money, and lifestyle. American surveys show seniors with high daily stress have higher rates of hypertension, poor sleep, and medication use. Financial strain often persists not from lack, but from maintaining unnecessary expenses. Across millions of older Americans, the same pattern repeats. Simplification improves well-being faster than most interventions. So, what are the 6 things you no longer need after 60? The first is unnecessary obligations. Social, family, or community commitments done out of guilt rather than meaning. Research shows perceived obligation increases cortisol, especially in older adults. The cause is emotional pressure. The effect is chronic stress. The second is excess possessions. Clutter increases cognitive load. Studies show visual overload raises anxiety and decision fatigue. After 60, the brain prioritizes calm environments for regulation. The third is outdated self-expectations. Trying to meet standards set decades ago. Productivity, appearance, constant availability creates internal conflict. Psychological studies link this mismatch to depression in older adults. The fourth is constant comparison. Comparing your pace, health, or lifestyle to others fuels dissatisfaction. American mental health data shows comparison stress does not motivate seniors, it drains them. The fifth is the need to explain yourself. Explaining choices, boundaries, or preferences consumes emotional energy. Seniors who drop this habit report higher autonomy and peace. The sixth is fear-driven planning. Planning only around worst-case scenarios keeps the nervous system in a state of alert. Studies show seniors who balance planning with present focus living experience better emotional health. Many seniors try failed fixes because of old advice. They add supplements instead of subtracting stress. They push themselves socially instead of resting. They organize clutter instead of removing it. These fixes treat symptoms, not causes. Linking this to today is essential. Americans are living longer than any previous generation, but longevity magnifies what we carry. What once felt neutral becomes heavy. What once helped begins to harm. Simplification in giving up its adaptation. So, what can people over 60 apply today? First, remove one obligation that drains you but adds no meaning. Notice how quickly energy returns. Second, reduce physical clutter in one small space. The mental effect is immediate and measurable. Third, update your internal rules. Ask, does this expectation still fit who I am now? Here is the clear warning based on evidence. Chronic stress from unnecessary burdens after 60 increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, sleep disorders, and cognitive decline. Simplification is not optional, it's protective. And here's the open thought to leave you with. If peace increases when things are removed rather than added, what might your life look like after one more thoughtful subtraction? If you want to explore how the healthiest seniors simplify without shrinking their lives, subscribe now. The next chapter reveals why letting go is not the end of growth but the beginning of a quieter, stronger kind of freedom.